You think you know this world you're in? I've seen things you haven't.
Hi, I'm Pippa Bennett-Warner and I play Shannon Dumani in Gangs of London, and I'm chatting with Cosmopolitan UK.
Hi, I'm Michelle Fairley and I play Marian Wallace in Gangs of London, Season 2, and I'm talking to Cosmopolitan UK. Have you approved the extra payments? Gareth gave us such a brilliant, in Season 1, they had put such time and energy into their research that they literally handed us a biog of our character. Every actor was given, this is your character's life story, and this is where they are when we find them now. And it was so focused and so intense on their backgrounds, their family life. So they gave us such a rich sort of brochure on these people that, and then they plotted the journeys of all the episodes. And it's so rare that you get that, you know, and you were just like, they sent it through on email and you were just like, wow, this is, and then you could ask them more. And then of course they gave that to every actor. You know, most of I think the main actors and the main characters, you know, such documented history that it's so rare that happens. And so when it is, you're just like, thank you for caring so much.
What does it feel like to be a king?
I mean, I think the boys must love it. I mean, all those action sequences and the violent sequences, they're like it's like dancing and watching them do it. It's like choreography, and it's beautiful to watch, actually. And I remember in the first season, you know, some of those set pieces took 5 days to shoot. I mean, it's really like it's like watching a masterclass in how to do violence, I suppose. But I mean, those elements of the show are actually probably my favourite parts. Because it's like watching art, you know. It's not, yes, it's violent and yes, it's kind of gruesome and gory, but it's Gangs of London, I suppose. It's like that's what people expect. And I think that's what people really enjoyed the first time round, as well as watching all the gore.
The violent scenes, they're all incredibly choreographed, you know, for health and safety, and not only for the actors' health and safety, for the crew's health and safety, for the stunt people's health and safety. So everything is choreographed, and they will rehearse and rehearse and rehearse for weeks, sometimes in advance, before they actually come to shooting.
You would have the full protection of the state. A new life.
You'll have an armourer on set, always on set. And I don't particularly like handling guns, if I'm very honest. And the armourer, he or she, will come up to you with the gun and first of all show you that there's nothing in it. There are no bullets in it. And they will ask you, would you want to hold it? And then you will handle it. And then you will ask, how do I hold this? If I was to look through the sight, they tell you everything. They'll explain it to you in detail. But the main thing is to assure you that it is safe, that there are no live bullets in there ever, 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 and no bullets ever, live or not. So, and they are absolutely 100%, you know, focused on safety.
So Shobe's another one that I've worked with multiple times before, Gangs, and he's just so easy to work with. So we just sort of slip into it, and there the two characters are, and we're always looking for the light and shade within the scenes and trying to make that complicated relationship as interesting as possible.
You understand what it took to build this city.
I mean, we're a really social cast. So during filming, there's always parties and, you know, drinks on a Friday, and it's a bit of a love-in. We all get on really well. We did in season 1, and then season 2 brought us closer together. And of course, we had new additions in season 2, and they just slotted in like they'd always been there. It's a real dream job to work on socially in that respect too. It's just like everybody loves each other. It's and it makes such a difference, you know, when you go to work and you see people that you love and you get to act with them. It's like, I think what we did lots of dinners and Thanksgiving. We all celebrated Thanksgiving together, and because Waleed is American, and yeah, so we all just kind of did house parties and then dinners out and drinks out and stuff. We just, I don't know, we're a real kind of like team in that way, which you don't always get when you're working in an industry which is so quick, if that makes any sense. You know, you do a job and then everybody moves on and stuff. But we're very we're kind of all in love with each other, I suppose.
This year I filmed a lot with new people because last year I did a lot with Ed, with Lucy, and who I love working with, and Pippa and Papa and Joe and the family. It's lovely. And this year there was some family, but a lot of new actors as well, which is exciting for me because it's always exciting to see other people's work and to be able to do, you know, to interact with new actors, and which is fabulous, and form new bonds with people too, like Luann's character. And that's what's so lovely sometimes when you go on location. You get a time at the end of the working day to go back to the hotel, possibly have a drink if you drink, or, you know, sit down and just sort of like, whoa, you know, talk about life and, you know, just get to know people on a different level rather than on a set. Yeah.
Ain't been scrimping with this place.
Oh, Dad.
What's going on, son?
I didn't really film in any glamorous locations. I did film at the top of I think it was an NCP in Croydon though, which was actually pretty cool. It had good views of Croydon. You know, and there are some quite glam high-rise buildings, I suppose, in Croydon. I think the boys get all the good locations when it comes to that.
Marian has a house, a compound house, and this was a house built by an architect which I had seen on, I think it was Grand Designs actually. And I think Kevin MacLeod, it had won its sort of like episodic heat, and basically, so I recognised the house instantly. So it was actually really exciting to get into the house and sort of like go, I remember where this was, and blah, 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 and see, because I love design and architecture and I'm really into that.
Why should I trust you? What's changed since we last spoke?
I'm sick and tired of killing for those people.
The great thing also about the show, it's very collaborative. So there, you know, the writers are brilliant, but they're also not very precious. So if we feel as actors, and, you know, we know the characters really well, if we're like, we don't think that Shannon would say that, or Elliot would say that, you know, there's always a conversation about changing stuff. So it's good actually, because everybody's tracking their own, from the last season, everyone's tracking how their character would handle the events that happen in this forthcoming season. But you're so the character. You're not sort of playing the character anymore. Maybe, you know, like I think I touched on in the first week of a first show, you can be a bit like, oh my god, I'm not quite sure who she is. But by this point, you're like, no, I've done the work. She's in there. How would she react to what's happening?
Matt and Gareth and the other directors was very good. And Corin was also in season 1. You were able to go and say, what about, does this ring true, or what about that? Or it would be better if I cut that line, so it's just, you know, it's more of a reaction.
Getting into the character of Shannon this time round felt easier because we'd done the first season, and I know we'd had quite a big filming gap between season 1 and season 2, but something about her, I suppose, has possibly still, you hold on to characters to a certain degree, and especially when you know that you've got to go back and revisit them, you don't get rid of them as quickly. So I think with her, as soon as I put the wig on and put her clothes on, I was like, okay, yeah, I feel, you know, she's here, she's back.
We have done a season already. We did season 1, so So I know who she is, and I know, her history. I know, where she is. But, people evolve, people change because of their circumstances and because of their experiences. So you have to, you create a framework, and then within that, sections of your personality, of your character are heightened or lessened or, or new parts of strength are discovered or weaknesses as such. When you start to then come in season 2, you're adding different layers. So it's it's like putting on a pair of shoes. Your foot is already imprinted in that, so you know exactly how it fits.
I'm gonna get us out of here. Get you on that beach in Jamaica. After all.
I can't say because it's too like spoiler alerty. But I think where we leave her at the end of season 2 is really, really exciting, and not necessarily expected. I'd quite like to see Shannon emotionally fulfilled. I think, there's definitely more to come from the romantic side of her life. Yeah, and also because Danny is her absolute focus. I'd love to see that relationship as he's getting older and kind of having more of a voice within the family, within the show and stuff. I think it would be interesting to see how that develops, if he becomes, is the next kind of, he's the next generation of Dumanis. Danny's running London, yeah.
Well, I'd like her to remain alive. It's finding the truth in the situation of like where can she go? What is the next move for her? At the end of the season, Marian finds herself in a very heartbreaking position, and it's sink or swim time. So it's where does she go from there? I like to be surprised. I don't like to sort of I don't want her to have a quiet life. I want the fact that this is a woman now who's made a choice, and this is a choice about work. And I want her to be her own boss. I want her to be a valued member of this, cartel, and I want her to have revenge, basically. Thanks for watching, and catch Gangs of London Season 2 on Sky Atlantic and Now.